How's it going, guys? So since I don't know when this is gonna be, either in the very beginning or in the mid session of this video, I've decided to bring out questions to the person who has played the game, which is May. Say hi.
Hi. Hello.
So we're gonna get to the questions that I wrote down for May, since she basically finished the game in her own playthrough. So the first question that I'm going to ask you is, what did you think about Hollow Knight from the start to the end of your playthrough?
Personally, I don't recommend it.
Hollow Knight, a game in which I have decided to put my fiance through in a form of a challenge that I have created for her to do. And that challenge was, can she beat Hollow Knight under a certain amount of death? Now, this has been a long-awaited video that I've been trying to make for a very long time, and other things has happened through our life that made me not make this video for a while, but it is finally coming out. It is here, and basically, what is this challenge that I have put through my fiance through in Hollow Knight? So let me get to the gist of what this challenge is supposed to be. So I pick out 3 games that I'm aware that exist, that I know of, and I put her through a challenge with a form of a reward at the end of it if she were to beat the game. So the 3 games that she had to choose from was Hollow Knight, Uncharted, and The Persistence. And out of all the games that she wanted to choose, she decided that Hollow Knight would be that game. And this is how it went in Hollow Knight. But before we actually get into the adventure that May went through, I want you guys to understand that games like Hollow Knight, or anything that I'm going to be putting up in this channel involving this challenge of can May beat this is just something that I wanted to put out, something a little fun on my channel, something that I've never done before. And this is something that I don't want people bashing May for. This is a completely new game that she has never played before. A Megalomania is something completely new to her. The only games that she really has played in her lifetime is shooting games, sometimes story games here and there, but for the most part she's an Overwatch player. But she did want to give Hollow Knight a try, and I have put in an interview at the end of this video regarding questions about what she thought about Hollow Knight. So, what was the challenge that she had to do, and what was the reward that she was going to gain if she were to beat Hollow Knight? So firstly, if we don't know what Hollow Knight is, you kind of live on the rock. I kind of uploaded a video a little bit ago about Hollow Knight, but essentially Hollow Knight is a Megalomania indie game where you explore a world that has gone through ruins, and you have to explore through this beautiful atmosphere to find out what happened and to fix it all. You, the vessel, go through this journey that's very long, but at the end you feel like you will learn something about this game. And yeah, May definitely learned something, alright. So what does she have to do in order to get her reward? So firstly, she has to beat the game. Whatever ending that she got is her beating the game, but she cannot die 120 times. It was originally going to be 60, but then after the game continued on, I realized that this game, you have to learn through your mistake through death, and that was not going to be a lot of deaths or a lot of ground to cover. Anyways, so I decided to double it to 120, and her reward would have been an Amazon prize of her choice. And that was basically her little motivation to actually continue playing the game for a little bit. But as we're going to continue on into the video, you will soon to learn that May didn't finish the game. But there will be a reason as to why that is when the video continues. And as looking at the death counter that's going on, and looking through the recording a little bit, I realized that she died 34 times. And me and her thought that there was a lot more deaths than we expected. But surprisingly, there was just 34 deaths. And essentially, when this is a game that she doesn't know about, the little itty bits of rules that I added in throughout the game, she has 3 tips that I can give her if she simply asks me to give her a tip. And this only works for games that she doesn't know about. But if she's playing a game that she knows about, she played the game, finished the game, then she's not going to receive any forms of tips because she already knows how it works. So let's say if she were to play a game like Overwatch and there was a challenge involving Overwatch, I don't need to give her any tips because she knows how to play the game. So starting off in Hollow Knight, firstly, she did not do anything involving optional challenges like the Path of Pain or the little mini bosses that you'll find here and there like Zolts or the Great Mighty Zolts, because that would be too far into the game and it is optional, and a lot of the times these fights just don't matter because they're not important to the lore of the story or the main objective really. You could pass a lot of these boss fights and not have to worry about beating them because they're just not important to the grind that you have to commit in order for you to beat the game. Now if she wanted to do 120% of the game, which would take over 30 to 40 hours, then she would do something like that. But that was not her goal. She just wanted to beat the game swift and clean with a minimum of 120 deaths. So how far exactly did she make it throughout Hollow Knight's lifespan and her playthrough? So she actually made it all the way until she got the Mantis Claw, which is pretty far into the game, since at that point she's above the fight of the sister battle. I forgot exactly what their name was, but after we have gotten her to the Mantis Claw, that was when we kind of had a pause throughout the playthrough for a while. Life kind of got in the way. We didn't know when it was that we wanted to play Hollow Knight again, but it was later on that I asked her if she wanted to continue playing Hollow Knight or end the challenge there. Of course, I before have tried to encourage her to continue playing the game Hollow Knight, but in the end, she wants to stop playing Hollow Knight because reasons that we will get to in the future. So, how many boss fights has she beat in order for her to actually, I guess, end on this playthrough? So, in the total amount of fights that she has defeated was the False Knight, Hornet, and Gruzmother, which comes up to 3 boss fights, which I think is fair enough to the amount of things that she would have to do to actually get the ending that she needed in order for her to actually get the normal ending. So what does she have to do in order for her to actually beat the game? Well, she would have to find 3 dreamers, and in order for her to get to those dreamers and essentially take their soul, she would have to get a dream nail. This dream nail is the most important item you need in order for you to actually beat the game, and without the dream nail you cannot reach that ending, you cannot reach that goal. So the 3 dreamers that she would have had to beat are scattered all around the map, and they're all over the place because they're very far. She would have to take either a little stop by a bench and find those little bus stops you'll find essentially, or she would have to walk all the way across the map just to get to where she needs to be. And there is a lot of monsters that she would have to go through in order for her to actually find those 3 dreamers. And that was something that she did not want to do, because it does take a long time to actually get up to where you need to be to beat the game. It will take around 20-30 hours to actually get to those 3 dreamers, and then finally get back to the Black Egg and defeat the Hollow Knight, which, as you guys know, is actually the title of this game. It's kind of crazy. So there's also another thing that I forgot to mention. It's a little optional thing that she could do, but she doesn't need to do it. This is not gonna hurt her in any way if she decides to not beat this optional reward. and that is to not use Unbreakable. For those who don't know what Unbreakable is, Unbreakable of anything, like Unbreakable Strength or Unbreakable Heart, they give you a massive buff to your attack damage and your health. You will gain a lot more health, and putting them on as your charm will essentially make her fail the optional challenge, and she will no longer be able to get the optional reward. And that's essentially all the rules that there was that I can think of on top of my head that I put in. So when she got to the fungal waste, that was when she was having a lot more problems, because there's a lot more monsters. Now they're exploding with budgie spores all over the place, all the monsters that she has gone through, and eventually she would meet the love of her life, Isabelle, way back in Dirtmouth, when she would open up the shop when she found Cornifer.
Hi, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man, look at that booty.
You're calling
She thick.
a fucking ant.
She got that cake.
You're calling an
She got cake.
ant beautiful.
She got cake.
She got cake.
She got cake.
Holy smokes.
Lots of cake.
And it is kind of hilarious because there are definitely some things about her playthrough that kind of opened my eyes a bit, as well as to the community. Firstly is when she first met Hornet. She didn't know who Hornet was at the beginning. She just saw some guy staring at her and thought that this was just some weird creep just following her, or if anything, we're following him. And that was when I revealed the big bomb onto her that it's a woman. And then she said those words, horny lady. That is something that really made me laugh, because in the community of Hollow Knight, it is just it's bewildering that a lot of people would consider smashing either Isabelle or Hornet, and they would go because of the vessel being small. They assumed that it's actually a child, and horny lady was the first thing that she would call Hornet. And that was basically the only name that she would ever call Hornet, just horny lady, and that was basically it. So while playing throughout the game, there was a lot of things about her style of gameplay that really interested me. Firstly, it did not take her long to actually not master pogoing, but actually gain the hang of it. When I was playing Hollow Knight for the first time, I didn't even know that pogoing was a thing. And eventually, I got the hang of it and realized what it was. But the reason why I said this is because there was this one specific room where the grub would be, and I didn't know how the actual fuck to actually get there. And I found out way later in the game how to get it. But May, the Chad she is, found out immediately through pogoing that she could just hop off the spikes and just get the grub. When she actually got the grub, I told her that it took me forever to actually get this, because I had no clue what pogoing was until later on into the game. And even like looking up like videos about it, it really boggled me, because Hollow Knight is not just a game where you fight bosses. There's a lot of things about the game that you need to learn if you want to survive and endure throughout the fights that you will encounter in Hollow Knight. You will have to master your movement, or if anything, be good at dodging. Hollow Knight is like Elden Ring or Dark Souls or Bloodborne. You have to be able to not get hit, or else you're gonna get absolutely blasted by any bosses you come across. And the movement that you will learn is being patient, of course, or pogoing. Pogoing is not the most important thing you have to learn in order for you to actually beat the Hollow Knight bosses. Nah, for the most part, you just need to learn how to actually move around and not stand still like an absolute buffoon, because then that's how you're gonna get hit and that's how you're gonna die. Now, this was a little bit hard for May to kind of get used to, because it's something that she's not really used to doing. For the most part, as I said, she's an Overwatch player. That's something that she's not really going to be doing. She's going to be moving around fast-paced pew-pewing all over the place. But in a game like Hollow Knight, she doesn't know what she's supposed to be doing, because this is a story-based game. There's no one to help her. And of course, if she wanted a tip, she could ask me. But surprisingly, throughout the game, she never once asked for a tip. And I'm not sure if it's because she's being resilient and she just does not want any form of help, or she thought that she could just handle it herself. She was strong enough to just not ask for a single tip of mine or any form of hint that could help her in the journey of Hollow Knight. And that to me is kind of funny, but in some way it was a little inspiring, because she just wanted to do things on her own. Because while I was playing Hollow Knight, yeah, I really didn't ask for help either, but whenever I would just get stuck on a place, aka the last time I played a Hollow Knight, I had to look it up because I was so confused as to what I was supposed to do to get the 120%, because holy shit, 120% takes forever, especially when you have to try to go and find every single monster in the game. Now, comparing the boss fights that I went through and what she went through, of course I went through every boss fight in the game, while she only went through 3. But comparing how we played our fighting style, it really did not take her that long to actually beat some of these bosses. If anything, she beat them a lot quicker than I did when I first played this game. And that's something that's really interesting to me, because the way that she plays is very different from the way that I play, especially now. Because I'm way more aggressive and I fight a lot more aggressive in games like Hollow Knight. But with her, she's very patient. She wants to take things very slow, and even though there are times that would kill her, she actually learns a lot more from taking it slow. And that's something that is very good to do. In a game like Hollow Knight, you need to take things very slow and learn what your enemy will do. Because if not, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over, and you're not going to get anywhere. So for the most part, what you're going to be doing is actually just watching your enemy, and you're going to be learning from your death. But that's something that she's not supposed to be doing. That's not her goal. She doesn't want to die, because if she dies, that will add to her death counter, and she will slowly be losing her time, and that's something that she does not want. So while learning and going through each boss fight, she learned pretty quickly what she's supposed to be doing. And even if she were to die, she learned that she still has to take things slow and watch her own movement too. Because it's not all about just watching what your enemy would do, but what you will do. Because sometimes your body will just do things that you originally don't want to do, and a lot of times you kind of panic, freak out, and that's what causes your death. And in Hollow Knight, you're not supposed to be freaking out. Freaking out will only just make things worse, and not only in Hollow Knight, but in any game that you're going to play. And that is something that I'm going to be done with talking about. Because Hollow Knight in general, there will be a lot more that I would talk about, but since she didn't defeat the game, there's not too much to talk about with her gameplay. But there is an interview that I decided to talk to May about, because I wanted to get her input about the game and what she thought about it. And I'm going to be doing this with every game that we're going to be playing, with each challenge that she's going to go through. So this is going to be the interview that I put up, and I hope in some way this doesn't get everyone to just bash her for no reason for not finishing the game. You don't recommend it?
No. I wouldn't play it anymore. Or I would probably play it later in the future, because I'm not too into games like that right now. Like that type of game.
Alright.
I thought it was hard.
Alright, that's fine. What were some things about the game you liked/disliked?
I liked saving the caterpillars. I like Isabelle very much. So, I liked fighting the horny lady.
The Hornet, yes.
And I liked learning that jump thing.
Pogo?
Yes, pogo. Learning to pogo. But unfortunately, I'm sad that I didn't become skillful in doing the pogo.
So then what were some of the things that you disliked about Hollow Knight?
Things that I dislike, some of the bosses were pretty hard. I didn't like the acid. I thought it was irrelevant to me. I can't really remember too much things that I disliked. I know there are some mobs that I didn't like. Oh, that caterpillar, not that caterpillar. It was the moss monster where it goes underground, and then when you enter on its grounds,
it snatches up.
It comes up and it goes after you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, I can see that. There's a lot of monsters. No, there's one specific monster that the community hates. There's a form of aspids, and they shoot 3 shots at you, and it's very annoying. Like, the community unanimously just do not like it, and I don't like it either.
Yeah.
Because it's really bad. Alright, and it's kind of funny, because some of the things that you said in the first one is actually in some of the questions. Is this the kind of game you like to explore in the future?
In the future, if I do have my dream of becoming a streamer or someone who plays games a lot and wants to explore different games, then yes. But right now, it's not my cup of tea. It's not my go-to. Right now, my go-to is Overwatch, and just multiplayer games, or just other games like The Last of Us, or even Resident Evil 7 or 8, or just Resident Evil in general. It's some in the future, maybe, and I would like to try it again, but just not right now.
Speaking of Overwatch, because you didn't mention that, a video was uploaded onto her channel, Juria. If you guys want to check that out, I will link that in my description where you guys can check out that video, because I edited a video and it was very funny going through the entirety of that video.
Yes,
from start to finish. And of course I had the help of May here making this video.
Yes.
Alright. For this question, as a new player to Hollow Knight, what are some things you'd recommend to other new players who wants to play the game?
I don't recommend it. Don't play the game at all. Like, I'm being so serious. Unless you have played a game similar, no. No.
So there's nothing that you would recommend, like any tips or hints?
Tips? Okay, here's my tip. I recommend that you watch videos. I don't care. If you want to, element of surprise. No, just forget all that. Because if you hate these kinds of games like I do, you are not going to be happy. You're going to be depressed. And we don't like depressed people.
Then I can scratch out this question. Would you recommend this game
No.
to
No.
I can scratch that off.
I've said that since the very first question.
Yes. Alright, since the challenge is over, would you still want to finish the game in your spare time? If not, do you feel like you're missing out on something magical in Hollow Knight?
So, I know it was something that I was thinking about when I made the decision. Yes. And I've also thought about if I would be able, or if I could play the game and try to beat it in my own time and on my own terms without the challenge, and just not being limited and whatnot. So yes, I would do that, but not anytime soon.
Alright. So for this one, out of all the bosses that you have defeated, which I will list the monsters that came from the top of my head that you have defeated, which one did you enjoy? There was the False Knight, the guy with the hammer that jumps up in the air, Hornet, and Gruzmother. Gruzmother being the one that shoots out babies when it dies.
Horny lady.
Horny lady.
I like Horny Lady, but I like the very first one because it was easy.
It really shocks me that you, of all people, call horny lady, because that's the whole fucking meme surrounding her.
Really?
in the
Because she's
community.
horny?
No, because her name sounds like horny.
I know, that's why I call
And
her Horny Lady.
especially
but I didn't know
since-
that.
Especially since a specific kind of the people in the community would make art involving her, since her name is the horny lady, and it's very questionable because they're all bugs.
This is the type of stuff that I was going to be doing?
No, this is she's looking at the path of pain I'm doing right now that's on the screen. No, this is optional. You didn't have to. This is for lore.
But this is the type of movement that I'm expected to do in
You
this
were
game?
expected to do, yes.
Yeah, no.
It's
I'm not. I changed my answer. I'm not doing this in my spare time.
No, but when you're doing this, no. When you're against bosses, no. Moving like this is something that you're not expected to do. It's more patient-like. This is me just rushing for the most part.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So, did you regret playing Hollow Knight at all? Really?
No, it made me realize that I don't like the game. Because before I met you, I did think about playing the game because I knew of its existence. I've had it for when I had PS Plus and I have it downloaded. And yeah.
But you just never had the time to play it.
No, I have played it. I played a little bit of it, but I did know that I didn't like it. I didn't like the playstyle. I didn't like it at all.
I can understand that.
This is you playing?
That's me playing, yeah.
You're so good.
Not even. I was fucking up in the beginning. And especially, like, I don't want people to get mad at me because Hollow Knight is definitely not for everyone. And I can definitely say for sure this game wasn't for me at the beginning. I didn't like it, but after playing it for a while, it grew on me. It definitely grew on me when I played this game. So don't get mad at anyone for not liking your game, because this game is nice, but she doesn't enjoy it because she doesn't think it's something that she will enjoy, since it's a Megalomania boss fighting game.
Yeah, if you get mad, too bad.
This is too bad.
Just cry about it, I guess, because I don't care. Like, honestly,
It really shouldn't concern you.
I'm coming out of this this challenge. I'm quitting this challenge with pride because I've already said I don't like these type of games, and I'm not too used to these type of games. Plus, sometimes I really don't have the patience, and just dying over and over again. It's just something that I didn't think I didn't think I was gonna complete the challenge. So.
And of course, there will be other games that she will play on this channel that will involve her doing challenges. There's already 3 games that she will have to select later on. She hasn't chose one yet, but when the time does come. I know this video took a while. We've been busy doing other things.
Yeah, life.
So, life, essentially. So that's why this video took a little longer than it should have been. But, for this question, what makes the game challenging to you, and does Hollow Knight deter you from other Megalovania type games?
The mobility, movements and stuff, you know, how, because I've seen you play, and I'm not expecting myself to move like how you do, or move how other people do, but it's just, I can see that it can be essential. And the way, when I was playing and you tell me, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, like, I just don't, it's all too sudden for me, it's too fast for me, and I just can't deal with that.
Yeah, and especially since a game like crossing over from Overwatch to Hollow Knight is such a huge change to you.
Yes.
That you're not comfortable with this fast play style.
Yes.
Of moving quick while also being patient with your movement.
And I play Overwatch every day. I played Overwatch every day ever since I got the game. Well, there was this time where I took a break from it because I was playing too much, and I got bored. Not bored, but I got tired of the game. But it's just I'm very used to multiplayer games. I'm very used to games like Overwatch, like just Overwatch in general. I have 1,300 plus hours on Overwatch. I know. I don't touch grass.
Plus, with games like Hollow Knight, they're very fast paced, but not in the sense of waiting for your enemies to come to you or you killing the enemy. This is more fast paced of enemies are more likely to kill you, and you have to learn from your death. And not a lot of people are patient enough to die and learn from it. They eventually just give up. But you gave up because it's not because you died too many times, but because you just didn't feel like you want to continue.
It's just not a game for me right now. It is, and so what you said, it's gonna be difficult for me to do a challenge if I learn. If it's a game where I learn more when I die, and then I'm limited. You know, that's another thing, that I'm limited. You know, and I just be afraid. And if I die and keep dying and I die more times, then, you know, it's just gonna frustrate me.
So then, does this deter you from other games like Hollow Knight that involves this kind of aspect of fighting? For example, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Psycho, I think that's how you pronounce it. Anything involving that kind of play style where you have to learn.
Definitely. You know, and I did say I wanted to try Elden Ring, but I'm honestly against that because, you know, Bloodborne. I've played Bloodborne.
And I'm playing it too.
You are?
I'm playing it as of right now, and I've had to get back
when
into
did you
it.
play Bloodborne?
I was playing it and
Oh yeah. With the zombie like
wolf die. Holy shit.
The 7 days
Yeah.
to die zombie. Yeah, but things like all no. I just can't.
Especially with the games that we played together, Overwatch, Rainbow, BO3, 7 Days to Die. Like, those are games that is nothing like Hollow Knight.
Nope.
Nothing like that. There's no co-op. There's no tips, no hints, nothing. It's just you get put in the world, you explore it. That's what many people love about this game. But for you, since it's so new, that's something that you haven't explored yet. You're still used to the whole multiplayer aspect of games, which is understandable, of course, because being out of that comfort zone is something that you're used to yet. That's why you don't really like Persona, because of its RPG aspect, but you can understand that I like it because it's so new and different for me.
Yes.
Now for the final question, and this is the most important question that I put on here because it means a lot to me, of course. Would you smash Isabel or Hornet?
Like me personally or my character? Because I heard that my character is the sister.
No, you're the brother. Well, we don't really know because it's not.
Oh,
really,
my character is the brother. My bad.
We don't really know what gender your character is, but we do know that. Well, I guess he's supposed to be the brother. I consider it to be the brother because they're both. It says in one of the achievements, siblings, so they are siblings. And since like you're not gonna finish the game anytime soon, the lore is that Hornet and your character are
siblings,
relatives. They're siblings. But I'm not saying it in the mindset of you being the brother, but you in general.
Can I just smash both?